say, from building large scalable networks is the more and more you make something efficient, the less and less robust it is. It's just a fundamental trade-off. Okay? The meaning of robust means you must operate under unknown input conditions. A necessity for building an efficient system, pretty much, is you know the inputs really well. Okay? And so you look at the way we went around building the internet, there's like lots of stuff that doesn't actually work. But the whole thing works, you know, there are parts that are not working well, but the whole thing works well, right? There's building this reliable organisms from unreliable components. That's sort of what underlies the way we went about the internet thing. Here, it's just suddenly all the stakes are so high. Because how can we just like waste water? We can't. But then we have to be nevertheless robust. It's non-trivial. There's another thing
So the issue is how little can you end up wasting and still be robust.
It's a beautiful curve, right? There's a robustness on the y-axis, and you want to be somewhere
and
here.
Can you make it go like this, not like this?
Right. So there is that aspect. There's something else too that we've done in building these distributed systems. One of the things that we've done there is like the essence of a distributed system, is my way of saying it at least, is that there are all these components that are trying to work the system without knowing how big the system is even. When you're on the internet, you have no idea how big, who else is out there. You don't know who's going to share your bandwidth. So what you do, you don't know how much bandwidth you have. Okay? So built into this whole thing is, I'm actually going to keep sending more and more data until a packet drops. When that happens, I'll cut my sending rate and then probe again. This is exactly how this so-called TCP algorithm works. So we build in this waste, namely drop a packet and retransmit it when it's dropped. Okay, just so we may discover the system we're in. That's the way you build this sort of distributed systems, where you don't have to now put all this intelligence in one place and then worry about it. Okay. Now, I look at that idea, and then you go to transportation networks.
You drive as fast as you can until you hit the guy in front of you. You back off.
That's right. Yeah, but if you think about the whole thing in the IT space, it's always been, how do I move something that was over here in the physical space that consumed real resources into the information space where the resources get cheaper every year? So one could think about doing the congestion kinds of back off, but you're not doing it with real energy flow. You're doing it in pricing systems that run on top of the energy flows, and you're basically bidding in the IT space, right? So where you have excess bandwidth because, the bits are so small and they're getting smaller every year, instead of the kilowatt hours, which are big and they don't get smaller.
Actually, what you just said, there's sort of what I think is an interesting question I'd like to throw out there, which is you raised the issue of pricing systems and price signals. And I'd like to encourage people to think